So we'll be dealing with writing session today. So let me share the screen now. Can you see this?
Rosemary, it's not visible. I think the screen not shared.
Okay, so let me try once again. And now?
Yes, now we can see the screen.
Okay. So we'll discuss IELTS writing and also listening today. So without any delay, let's start the session. So the purpose of writing is always to help the reader understand your ideas or your viewpoints. So coming to IELTS writing also, they also analyze whether the candidate is able to present your ideas clearly with accurate language. It's accurate language. Make sure that you are using the vocabulary you know. Okay, high sounding vocabulary, or maybe most of the IELTS trainers, or at least some of the IELTS classes or IELTS trainers encourage the candidates to memorize some advanced vocabulary, advanced or high sounding vocabulary. But it is not necessary to memorize and mug up all the vocabulary or the high sounding vocabulary. What they analyze is whether you are able to give your ideas clearly with the knowledge you have, with the vocabulary you have. So we'll start by giving a structure, the IELTS writing structure. So in IELTS writing, there are two tasks given for both academic and for both IELTS academic and IELTS general. You will be given two tasks, task 1 and task 2. So there will be 60 minutes in total. And for task 1, we'll first discuss IELTS academic. For task 1, wait a minute. Okay, is the slide visible? Is it changed to task 1? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so in task 1, you will be writing 150 words, and that too within 20 minutes. So there will be 60 minutes in total, and out of the 60 minutes or out of the 1 hour you have for both writing tasks, you will be spending 20 minutes for task 1, and the writing limit, the word limit is 150 words. So you have to write 150 words minimum. Less than 150 words means you will be getting lower score. So you have to you should be very clear, you have to write minimum 150 words. So it can rise up to 150 to 170 or 180 words. So in task 1, you will be presented a visual information. Visual information means a graph, map, chart, or diagram will be given in the question paper, given in the question. So you have to describe the information, the visual information given in graph, map, chart, or diagram. So, and the assessment parameters we'll discuss lately. Let me complete the IELTS writing task. And coming to the second task, it is of 250 words, and the rest of the 40 minutes. The 40 minutes is given to writing task 2, which means it is it has more weightage than the task 1. Task 2 has more weightage than task 1. You have to write 250 words within 40 minutes. And in writing task 2, if writing task 1 was to describe a visual information given in the question, in writing task 2, you have to write an essay on the topic given there. And there are different types of essays like discussion essay, opinion essay, problem solution essay, advantages, disadvantages essay. So the topic will be given there, and the topic will be based on any relevant topic like pollution, like technological advancement, global warming, globalization, etc. These are just giving for an example. So out of that topic, you have to identify which is the type of essay you have to give. If it is discussion essay, or if it is opinion essay, or advantages, disadvantages essay. So it will be clearly mentioned in the question. You have to get the idea of which essay has to be written for the writing task 2. So it is about IELTS academic. Coming to IELTS general, the writing task 1 and 2 are different. For task 1 in IELTS general, you will be given a situation in the question and asked to write a letter requesting maybe any information or to explain a situation. So it is a letter requesting to write an information or explaining a situation. So this letter can be personal, semi-formal, or formal in style. Formal, semi-formal, or personal in style. And coming to task 2 of IELTS General, you will be asked to write an essay in response to a point of view. Okay, in IELTS Academic Type 2, Task 2 of writing task was to write an essay on the topic given. But coming to Task 2 of IELTS General, you are asked to write an essay in response to a point of view or argument or a problem. So it has slight difference for IELTS writing academic and general. And coming to the third part, uh, coming to the marking and assessment. For task 1, we have given assessment parameters here. So there are 4 different parameters on which IELTS task 1 is evaluated. The first one is task achievement, and second one coherence and cohesion, third one lexical resources, and fourth one grammatical range and accuracy. So given here, so we'll go through each parameter. For the first one, task achievement. So you are given a visual representation. So let's take if it is a graph, you have to clearly mention what are the things compared there and what are the ideas or what are the things that you can derive while analyzing that graph. So all the requirements, the question will be given there. So there might be for comparison, they might be asking for comparison or they might be asking for analysis. So the task should be achieved there. So you can compare two information. For example, if the graph given there is about student participation of different classes in different sports activities. So let's take if there is cricket, soccer, and basketball from 8th standard to 10th standard students. So you have to analyze the graph and key features should be explained there. If for example, if for instance, if class 9 students or cricket is more familiar, more um, yeah, most of the students are participating in cricket. If the graph shows like that, the one inference from the graph is more than half of the students from all the classes are participated in cricket. So that is one inference there. Likewise, you have to get an idea from each graph or each visual information given there, and you have to compare with other classes. So this is for just an example. And coming to the next parameter, coherence and cohesion. So you can either call it as structure and flow. That means there should be a logical connection between the sentences. So you start from one sentence or you start from 8th standard, you have to end up in 10th standard. So there should be a connection, logical connection. And you cannot start from 10th standard and then come back to 8th standard. It's not like that. So there should be a structure and flow to the entire writing task you write. And your ideas should be logical. And we'll discuss one writing task, and so at that time you will be getting more idea about that. And coming to the third assessment parameter, it is about lexical resources, which means vocabulary, the word limit or the words you know. So using vocabulary in a proper and accurate manner is another parameter IELTS examiners evaluate on. So the range of vocabulary means you should know a different vocabulary or different words, and also it should be used in a precise format. That means if you have let's say you have memorized maybe 10 or 15 words for each task, so different high sounding advanced level vocabulary, but you are not very much familiar with the meaning, and you don't know whether to use this word here or there. So you are using these words in between the writing task. That means your score can lower. There is a chance to lower your score if you don't know the meaning correctly and if you are unable to use these words in a proper format, in a precise manner. So it is not only about advanced vocabulary, but using this in an accurate manner is necessary here. And coming to the fourth one, the grammatical range and accuracy. So it evaluates different sentence structures you can use to convey your idea. So if you are aware of simple present tense and also you are aware of present perfect tense, and you know the difference between using simple past and present perfect, so you are using these wide range of sentence structures in the writing task, and you know when to use passive voice and where to use passive voice. So this wide variety of grammatical sentence structures is evaluated in writing task. So task 1 and task 2, these two tasks demands different grammatical structures. For example, in task 1, when you are given a chart or when you are given a map or a graph or a process chart, you have to use passive voice there because you are not giving importance to the person who doing the action. Instead, the importance is given to the action itself. So you have to use passive voice in task 1. But coming to task 2, it is not necessary to use passive voice in task 2. Instead of passive voice, you can use other grammatical structures there. So task 1 and task 2 demands different types of sentence grammatical grammar aspects. So that should be in mind. So in this one, they actually evaluate on how the variety of grammatical structures are used by the candidate to present their ideas in a clear manner. So in task 1, there are different types of questions asked. So we'll go through the different types of questions asked in task 1. So it is necessary before you attempt an IELTS test, it is necessary to understand different types of tasks asked in different types of questions asked in writing part 1. So as I already mentioned, it should be completed within 20 minutes and you have to write minimum 150 words. More than 150 words is fine, but 150 words, less than 150 words means the score can be negatively affected. And the first type of question that can be asked in task 1 is bar graph, pie chart, line graph, process chart, table, map layout, and mixed graph. Mixed graph means either you'll be given a table and a pie chart or a bar diagram. So you have to go through each of these and you have to get into a analysis and conclusion. And coming to task 2, you have to complete this within 40 minutes and at least 250 words, and different types of essays will be given there, like a discussion essay, opinion essay, problem solution essay, and advantages, disadvantages essay. So opinion essay is also agree or disagree essay. So there will be an opinion given there, and do you agree with this or do you not agree with this? If you are agreeing with that opinion, you have to give the reasons there, state the reasons clearly, and if you don't disagree, you have to state that reason as well. So that's how opinion essay works. And so there are some tips for writing task 1. So before start to write, you have to spend a minute understanding the graph or chart or process, whichever that is given there. The the image given there should be clearly understood before you start writing. And the second point is describe the key features only. So it is not necessary to describe all the minute details, but try to describe all the necessary key features only. So for example, if it is a line graph, so if one of the parameters given there, for example, let's take the example we discussed about the students' participation in different sports. So if that line essay states something which has a huge increase or a significant decrease, or which one is stable. So these kind of key information should not be missed while writing the task 1. And you have to plan your structure properly. It is necessary or it is very important to divide your writing task in paragraphs. It is necessary to divide your writing task in paragraphs. For example, introduction, overview, and 2 body paragraphs which discuss your main points. And you can conclude, or the significant features are divided in these 2 body paragraphs. So there will be an introduction, overview, and body paragraphs which discuss the significant details you analyzed from the graphs or process chart given there. And if you are repeating the words, for example, increase or decrease, let's say if it is decrease, if you are trying to give, or if you are trying to repeat the same sentence, the same words again and again, then you can go for synonyms. Okay, so synonyms means, for example, decrease, you can use decline. So likewise, you can use different synonyms if you are repeating the same word. And use the words which are very clear to you. If you are unaware of the word's meaning, don't use that word. Use those words which is very clear, which you have a clear idea on. And coming to writing task 2, we already mentioned it is an essay and 40 minutes to 50 words plus. And writing task 2 has more weightage, 66%, or 2 by 3rd of the overall writing score is dependent on your writing task 2. So you need to, essay will be on a very variety of topics, and you need to discuss the ideas related to that topic. And if example, if you are taking advantages, disadvantages essay, so there should be an introduction and advantages will be discussed in one paragraph, disadvantages will be discussed in another paragraph, and the concluding paragraph will be of your opinion. So you don't or you should not mix up advantages and disadvantages in one paragraph. Each paragraph should contain the central idea. If you are discussing advantages in first paragraph, that should be completely advantageous, and it is necessary to state some examples to state your point. If you are giving one advantage of something, you have to justify that by giving an example. It can be from your personal experience or from someone else's experience, and also you can quote a third person. If you don't have any of your experience, you can quote a third person's opinion into the essay. And we'll discuss one writing task and writing task 2 also. So let me change the slide. Okay, can you see a process chart here?
Yes, yes,
I
Rosemary.
hope you can see that. Yes, okay. So, so for this one is writing task 1. So you should spend about 20 minutes on this task. Make sure you are not spending much more time on writing task 1 because writing task 2 has more weightage. So the question is, the diagram illustrates the process that is used to manufacture bricks for the building industry. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Write at least 150 words. So this is the question. So I'll be sharing this question and the image along with a sample answer in the group later after the class. So we'll discuss this one. So here it starts from a digger. The clay is being dug up from the ground, and next another process is there. So there are different procedures given in the picture. So you should be you should be careful with the images and also the words given in the visual representation. So here it is digger. Here we have clay, the metal grit, roller, sand plus water, mold, and here there is an or. So make sure you do not miss any single word given in the question. Wire cutter, bricks, mold, drying oven, and time is mentioned here. Temperature is mentioned here. Again, time is mentioned here. Packaging, delivery. So it is very important of the words. Words given here is also very important as the graphical representation of images. So both words and images should be given or should be understood very carefully. So let's do this one. So this is a brick manufacturing process. So the first paragraph should give an overall idea about the process. Overall idea about the process. So what is the diagram explains or what is the diagram illustrates? You have to mention that first. So here the diagram illustrates or the diagram explains the way bricks are made for the building industry. So that is in the question. So you are paraphrasing the question. You are never copying the question. You are actually paraphrasing the question using your own words. Make sure you never copy the question while writing the answer. You have to paraphrase it. And then you have to write how many stages. This is giving an overview. So overall, how many stages are there? So here, how many stages are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So overall, there are 7 stages in the process. And it is beginning with digging up of clay and culminating with delivery. So you are given an idea about the first step till last step, and how many procedures, how many steps are there in this whole process. So, and the next paragraph should start by explaining the process given there. So to begin with, so the clay is collected from the ground by using a large digger. So that is the first step given there. And then this clay, the collected clay is then placed onto a metal grid. So the metal grid, the word is given here. So placed onto a metal grid. And then if you watch here, you can see the bigger pieces have now become smaller ones. So the clay is broken up into smaller pieces. For this process, it is a roller which is helping to uh, break down the bigger clays into smaller ones. So after that process, you are explaining this one and the other process, and you are culminating with the delivery. So that's how it works. We are not going in very deep into detailing into the whole process. So this is how you usually write writing task 1. And talking about writing task 2, let me share another screen. Yeah. So here is the advantage, disadvantages essay, writing task 2. So the question is given here. A lot of places in the world rely on tourism as a main source of income. Unfortunately, tourism can also be a source of problems if it is not managed correctly. Describe the advantages and disadvantages of tourism in the modern world. Do you think that benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks? So you have to state your opinion as well. You have to describe advantages and disadvantages, and the question asks you, what do you think that if whether you think the benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks. So for this one, there is a sentence structure in paragraph 1, which is introductory paragraph. See the sample answer given here. So this is the introductory paragraph, and you have to spend at least 5 minutes or maximum 5 minutes on this paragraph. So sentence 1 can start with a general statement, or it is not mandatory, it's an optional one. Or you can start with the question's paraphrase. So here, nowadays tourism generates a significant portion of national income for many countries, but it has certain drawbacks too. So here, they actually paraphrased the question. So you can, that is mandatory. Paraphrasing the question is mandatory. And then comes next statement, thesis statement, which is also mandatory, which gives an idea about what you are going to discuss in this essay. See, the essay will examine the advantages and disadvantages of tourism and provide a logical conclusion. That is what this essay is going to do. So that statement clearly states what you are going to discuss in this particular essay. And coming to paragraph 2, this answer starts with advantages. So which means you are discussing advantages only in this paragraph. You are not going to mix up advantages and disadvantages, but only advantages are discussed here. And the next paragraph discusses, and in this paragraph, you have to write a topic sentence, which is this sentence will be giving an idea about what this whole paragraph is about. That is what a topic sentence is. So you can discuss two main advantages and two main disadvantages. So within 250 words, you can write only two advantages and disadvantages. So you can write two. So two advantages will be given there, which have to be stated there, and you have to elaborate that idea and discuss this with example. So here, so the first advantage mentioned here is tourists spend money on wide range of services, including hotels, amusements, transportation, food, and medical service. This way, tourism yields an additional income supporting the country's economy. So you can write the advantage and give an example. And the second idea is also mentioned here and can give example. And coming to the next paragraph, this paragraph is supposed to be discussed along with the disadvantages of tourism. And like we did in the advantages paragraph, you can write the same structure, you can use the same structure in disadvantages paragraph as well. And the last paragraph is the conclusion, where you are writing what you have discussed in the whole essay. You are restating the statement, the thesis statement we used here. You are restating that again, and you are concluding that. See the last sentence. I believe that these benefits of tourism outweigh its drawbacks. So you are concluding that task, writing task 2, by giving your opinion. So the question, all the questions, the all things that mentioned in the questions are done here. The advantages are discussed, disadvantages are discussed, and the opinion, your opinion is also stated here. So that is how writing task 2 works. So I hope you have got an idea about writing task 1 and 2. If you have any doubts, you can ask now. Otherwise, we'll move to listening also. We'll give a brief idea about listening session. Okay, I hope you don't have, okay, no doubts, okay. So we'll move to listening session. We'll be discussing about listening, how listening session is divided, and what are the different types of questions available there, usually asked there, and all those things. Okay, so coming to the listening session, there are 4 different recordings will be given as questions, and you have 30 minutes. 4 different recordings, 30 minutes, and 40 questions. So for 10 questions each from 4 different recordings. And there are 6 different types of questions asked in listening. And the first audio, so let's break down the first audio, second audio, third and fourth one. So coming to the first audio, it is usually an informal dialogue based on any normal social situation. Like for instance, it can be a telephone conversation to know about a seminar. It can be a telephone conversation to know about a travel arrangement, maybe booking a hotel or trying to get a transportation facility from somewhere. So it is usually a daily conversation which is informal in nature. And coming to the second audio, it is usually a non-academic monologue. It's not academic, it's non-academic monologue. That means only one person will be there. The first one was a conversation, dialogue between two persons, and the second one will be a monologue. And this could be one person talking about any information, maybe something about a parking facility, maybe about some camping facility, something like that. So this could be one person talking about any information. So there will be only one person. And the third audio, it is usually a discussion. There will be 3 or 4 people, and most of the time it is based on a educational context. So it has an academic background. So it will be a discussion. 3 or 4 people will be there. For example, there may be a discussion about a project. There will be students, or it might be entirely students, or it can be students with their tutor. And also, it can be a discussion about an assignment, project, or anything. So that is third audio. And coming to the fourth one, it is more academic and more formal in nature. So it is usually a university style lecture. So it is usually a university style lecture. Fourth one is more academic and more formal in nature. So any academic topic can be discussed here. So coming to after discussing all these different types of audios, one thing you can notice here is the difficulty of the recording increases one after the other. The first one was something which can be usually used in our daily conversation, our daily life. But coming to the second one, it is a monologue, and third one is a discussion where three or four different people are involved, and the fourth one is more formal and academic one, which is mostly educational background, maybe a university style lecture. So every answer is found within the recordings. So any subject knowledge is never required while attempting your listening test. So if you clearly, or if you are focusing on the listening audio, you can get the answers from the audio itself. And the things to remember, first thing is recordings are heard only once, and there will be range of accents, but the accents will be clear. So the recordings will be heard only once. So you have to write down, attempt the answer while you are hearing the recording itself. So the types of questions in listening. Hmm, wait a minute. Okay. So the types of questions given in listening are of six different types. First one, a form, table, or a flowchart completion. There are multiple choice questions. There are short answers and matching. Sentence completion is there, or plan, map, diagram labeling. So these are the different types of questions asked in listening session. So for some tips to be shared, the contracted words means they apostrophe are, they apostrophe re, they are, or they have, like they apostrophe ve, they have. So these kind of contracted words are never tested in IELTS listening, but spelling is tested. Misspelled words are given 0 mark. So make sure you are writing down the spelling correctly. And the instructions should be read very carefully. That means if the instruction asks you to write down one word, you have to write only one word, not more than a word. For example, if the answers to be written there is airport, the spelling is AIRPORT without any gaps in between. So airport, but if you are writing the airport, the answer will be wrong because two words are used. Any preposition, any article, or plural, anything, misspelled word, or if you are writing two words for one word answer, the answer will be wrong. So if the answer should be written airport, it is only airport, not the airport or a airport or an airport, anything else. And hyphenated words are counted as a single word. For example, check in, check in. So there is a hyphen in between check and in. So this is considered as one word. So if the instruction is given not more than two words, which means you can write either one word or two words, but never a third word should be added to that answer. So not more than two words means you have to limit your answer with two words. If you are given a number, or a number or a word, if the instruction is given, Okay, you can write a number and a word, or a number or word, which means either a number or a word, or number plus word, not more than that. I hope you have got an idea about that. So there will be 30 minutes for the entire listening session, and this includes the time to read the questions. The recordings will be there. You will get 1 or 2 minutes or this much minutes to go through the questions. So while giving that time, make use of the time cautiously. Okay. For example, if for the time you will be if you are getting 1 minute to read the questions, please go through the questions quickly, note down or underline the keywords, and then listen to the audio while the audio is played. So when you are given some time to read the questions, never make your mind go through here and there. You have to read the questions carefully. And also one thing, you have to carefully listen to plurals. If, for example, if the audio is given or the audio says
Rosemary,
key values.
hello. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Better you can share a question paper, Rosemary,
Question paper.
or something like that. Then we'll get a better idea about the listening.
Like about the recording, I don't know whether you can hear the
After
recording
recording,
if I
uh,
play
question
that.
paper, question
Question
paper will be
paper.
there.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, let me check it.
Yes.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if the audio says, for example, key values, key values. So the word is plural one. So if the word said in the audio is key values, which is plural, you have to write it as plural itself. If you wrote key value, it is wrong. So you won't get any mark for that. So this will be wrong. So make sure you are listening properly to the plurals, articles, anything that is mentioned in the audio. So the audio recordings get more difficult by the fourth part 4, you will be given more difficult academic audio. So it is more, however, if you practice, you will be able to get the idea properly. And one thing you should know is avoid distractors. There will be a load of, I'll share one of the audios in the group so that you can go through it whenever you get time. So there will be a lot of distractors or additional information given there. You have to carefully choose which is the answer from all these distractions. So avoid such distractors. It will be good if you can go through the audio once I share this in the group. And you can predict the answer. Okay, for example, let's take an example from here itself. Okay, so here the cost for 360 photos is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are question numbers. So you don't misunderstand. This is the part of a question. It's not part of question. So the cost for 360 photos is you are given a pound symbol here and fill in the blanks. So which means here the instruction given here is one word and or a number. So here it is clear if you are when you are given the answer or when you are given the time to go through the questions, it is clear here that it necessitates or it is required to fill some number here. So likewise, you can predict the answers. If it is a noun, if it is a verb or adjective, so you can predict the answer during that time. So here it is a number. So you can go through the number when the audio is played. You can listen carefully to the number when attempting this one. And you are not required to repeat the pound symbol again. Since it is given there, you need to write whatever the number required here. No need of repeating the symbol given there. I'm sorry. Okay. And also, it is important, one more thing, while listening to the audio, there should be you should be very careful about the synonyms because, for example, if the recording is you can hear she likes going to the gym and playing tennis. That is what you heard from the listening audio, but in your answer sheet or in your answer sheet or in your question paper, it will be a sentence, she is an active person. So it should be very clear that you have to be very much aware of paraphrases and synonyms. Like we discussed in the reading session, here also paraphrases and synonyms are very important. And also about pronunciation. For example, there are certain audio where they spell the word. So there can be you can be confused with the pronunciations. For example, H and H. So there is a slight similarity between H and H. So we usually say H, but the audio will be given an accented form of pronunciation for alphabets. For example, A, B, C, D. So these are more what you say recognizable, but at the same time coming to H, that is somewhat slightly misspelled in that case. So these kind of audio, these kind of pronunciations should be given properly or attentive properly. And if you're writing, if it is necessary to write a date or a month, if it is mentioned the date, you are supposed to write only the date. It is not necessary to include month or anything else. So you can predict the answer when if you are reading the questions carefully while you're given the time, and try to underline the keyword while you're getting the time to read the questions, which will be easy for you to derive the answer. And that's the most important tips to be shared here. And I think we can conclude the session after the clarifications. If you have any doubts, you can ask. You can use the chat box as well. I think there is no doubts. Ma'am, can we wind up the session now?
Yes, we can wind up the session.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary.